Okay, now it's time for us to get started. Today's story is titled What About Bear? The author of the story is Suzanne Bloom. As we read the story, we will be talking about what about Bear. In our story, we will be talking about what makes Bear special. And also, we will be answering the essential question.
To my splendid friend, Ellen. What About Bear? By Suzanne Bloom. Let's play. Hey, can I play? Sure. Jump right in. I want to play a different game. What about Bear? Bear is too big. I want to play a new game. What about Bear? Bear is too grumpy. I want to play another new game. What about Bear? Bear is too far away. But Bear is my friend. Wait, Bear! Come back! What about me? Bear is my big, old, sometimes grumpy friend. You can be our new friend. So, do you want to play with us? Yes, I do. Okay, jump right in. How to be a friend. Friends help each other. Friends work together. It is fun to make new friends. Friends play a game. Who goes first? We take turns. Friends teach each other things. We can learn new things from friends. Sometimes, Friends may not get along. Friends find ways to get along. Feature box. Here are some ways to get along. 1. Listen. 2. Share. 3. Play fair. There is someone new in the class. How can you be a friend? Feature box. Here are some ways to help a new friend. 1. Say hello. 2. Tell your name. 3. Ask your new friend to play. We can do many things with friends. What do you do with your friends?
Okay, now what you're going to do on your paper, you're going to draw a picture of what do you do with your friends. So I need to see a picture of you, and I need to see a picture of a friend or friends. So I need to see at least 2 people in your picture. Also, I need to see color in your picture. So not only are you going to draw pictures, but you need to show me some colors, just like they have in this picture. And also, you're going to show me what you do with your friend. So I shouldn't see 2 people standing there unless you're standing there singing or you're saying a speech or you're talking. But I should see a picture of what you do with your friend or friends. Once you're done, please review your work to make sure your name is on your paper and you have a picture of you and your 2 friends. Okay, sometimes when we read, we can use a strategy that helps us to understand the story, and that strategy is answer questions based on asking them. So the strategy is to ask and answer questions based on the story. So for example, what about Bear? Looking at these pictures, I may have some questions that need to be answered, but first I need to ask. I see Fox's tail and I see Goose's foot. What on earth could that be? Why is it that their tail and foot is there? On this page, the bear and the fox and the goose are playing. This tells me that the goose and the bear and the fox could be friends, because most of the times friends play together. So that's why it's best to ask questions and listen for answers. And as we read the story, excuse me, we will find out, are they really friends? And do they like each other? By asking and getting our questions answered. Once you're done with this story, you're going to draw a picture. And in your picture, you're going to show how friends get along. I should see at least 2 people in your story. In your story, not only should I see 2 people, but I should see color in your story. I should see not everyone the same color, but use your crayons to help you to draw your pictures. I should also see your name on your paper. So be sure that you have at least 2 friends showing what you do, to get along. I should see color in your picture, and I should see your name. See you in whole group on the carpet, and I'll know you do a great job. Okay, today what we'll be doing is using our strategy of ask and answer questions in order for us to learn a skill. And that skill is key details. Key details will help us to look at pictures and look at words to help us better understand and also get our questions answered. And keep in mind, our big question is, what happens when we try new things? So let's look at the picture. Let's look at the key details. How does Bear feel? How do you know he feels like that? In this picture, Bear has his hands on his hips and looks unsure about the new game that they're playing. Looking at those key details help us to understand if Bear is happy or if Bear is sad or he just doesn't want to play the games. That's why it's important to look at key details to get your answers to your questions. And let's look at another picture. What new game does Fox want to play? Look at the key details to help you to understand and ask yourself questions. What is this game that Fox wants to play? I can see a checkered board and checkers. So I know Fox wants to play checkers. But I will only know that if I look at the key details that the author is giving me. And let's look at another key detail. Which two animals are having the same feeling? Remember, key details. Maybe look at the words, or perhaps you could look at what the animals are doing or looking at their faces. I think Bear and Goose are experiencing the same feelings. Well, my question is, how can you tell they have the same feelings? Both look unhappy. Wait, they both are unhappy? Bear's face is not happy, and Goose's face is not happy. Both look unhappy, and neither one are playing. Again, looking at the key details to help us, but we have to be able to ask good questions and get them answered. Let's look and see if we can practice some more looking at key details. What about this illustration? What is happening here? What do you think is happening on this page? Yeah, Bear's walking away. He's still not happy. Let's look here. Does he even recognize why Bear is walking away? Or does he even care that Bear is walking away? Again, asking questions by looking at the key details will help us to answer the questions that we're asking. Remember, it's always important to ask questions and look at the key details to help us to understand. And by doing so, it helps us to answer the question, what happens when we try new things? And we know in that story that they tried something new. So let's read on and see. See you on the carpet in whole group. Thank you for being such a great listener. Okay, in this picture, you see a sequence of events. We have the first thing that happens, and then we read from left to right, come down, and read from left to right until we get to the end. So if you look at these pictures, they tell you what happened at the beginning of the story, and it tells you what happened at the end of the story. Using a sequence of events will help you to know and keep in order what happens in the story. So always think about what happened first, what happened next, and what happened last. On this worksheet, you will find some familiar characters that we have read about and learned about. Now it's your turn to use key details to help you ask and answer questions. So listen, before you get started, make sure your name is at the top of your paper, and then we can get started. The first question is, circle the picture that shows bear mad. Again, circle the picture that shows bear mad. So you're going to put a circle around the picture. The next question that I'm going to ask that I would like for you to answer using key details is, which picture shows Goose being happy? Which picture shows Goose being happy? Circle the picture that shows Goose being happy. All right, our last question is, where you see the tree. The last question is, which picture shows Fox being sad? Which picture shows Fox being sad? Would you put a circle around this picture, looking at the key details? Or would you put a circle around this picture that shows Fox being sad? On your paper, once you're done, be sure that you have your name at the top on this line. Make sure that you have answered each question that have been asked. Once you're done, be sure to put your paper in the color bin that matches your table and meet me on the carpet. Thank you for being such a great listener, and I'm sure you did a great job.